Hey, what's up guys, it is Psycho Sam here and welcome back to the channel, and today I'm super excited to bring you guys a brand new episode of survival FPS shooter in Unity. Actually it's FPS survival shooter in Unity, there we go. So in this video, as I promised, this is episode 2, so we're gonna take a look at the inventory. By the end of this video we're gonna have an inventory that we can pick up items and put the items into the inventory, and we're also going to have an item database for the player, if you guys recall that from the previous series that I attempted to finish but didn't really get off finishing. So the only change that I did here really was the fact that I saved the scene and called it scene as well. So I can literally just keep it in the assets folder. It's not really big of a deal, but if you haven't saved your scene yet, you probably want to watch episode 1 anyway. So yeah, now we're gonna get started by getting into scripts folder, create a new C# script here. We can call it inventory. There we go. And we're gonna attach this script to the player. Now you might think that the inventory script goes on the inventory object that we're gonna create by using a canvas, but it doesn't really do that, because when you have the inventory disabled, obviously the game object is going to be disabled, like it's going to be set to false, and that means that the inventory script doesn't get read off when the inventory, the canvas itself, the game object, is actually false or invisible. So we're gonna have it on the player so that we can read the inventory script all the time. So speaking of which, we're gonna go to game object. We're gonna create a UI, and we're gonna pick canvas here. Yeah, we can keep it called canvas. It doesn't really matter. Then we can actually go ahead and click on UI once again, and then perhaps a raw image should be good. There we go. Let's move it up a little bit so that we can see it. There we go. Just to see it in the game window as well. Now we're going to resize this to make sure that it fills the entire scene. So I'm going to click T on my keyboard and get this beautiful 2D layout or 2D editor in Unity. There we go. Just going to snap that onto the edges. There we go. So now it's filling the entire scene. And I could actually have, oops, that spun. There we go. So I could have like a, I guess like a, ooh, space gray looks good on this. Alright, there we go. And we can actually call this inventory background. There we go. Let's see, do we have anything here? No, not really. I'm okay with this. So we are obviously, like, this is going to be a template for the inventory itself, but we're gonna have a very professional inventory soon as well. Look, damn, I'm really stuttering today. I don't know why. So now next up, we can add one more raw image. There we go. And now I'm gonna scale this down a little bit by using the R key on my keyboard, because I don't want to use these, just to make sure that I can rescale both Y and Z, or Y and X, sorry, axis at the same time. There we go. So we can perhaps make this a little bit gray, like just like that. There we go. Yeah, we can have it like this. And then I'm gonna call this slot. There we go. And I'm gonna copy, paste, move this like to the side a little bit, maybe like that. And then one more time, and kind of line them correctly. There we go. And then that's a little far off. I don't want them to be offset. There we go. Alright, that looks good. So now we can align them a little bit better into the middle of the screen. There we go. I think that's pretty good. And then we're gonna copy all of these 5 that we just created. Boom, paste them. And align them a little bit vertically as well. Do the same thing one more time. Oh, there we go. Move them down a little bit. So you're just literally creating the inventory itself, the design for it. There we go. I think that's pretty good aligned. I don't know. I'm okay with that. So one more thing that I can actually do to make it easier for ourselves is to create a, yeah, we could perhaps just create another raw image, or we can just literally copy paste the slot, the first one, and we can actually have it up over here, and we can call this slot holder. Right, and then what we're gonna do here, we're gonna highlight every single slot here, and then we're gonna drag them into this slot holder. So this is literally going to be one maintaining object, so that we can have all the slots as a child object of. And that's pretty much it. So we can now go ahead and open up the inventory here. Oh, nice, it's opening up on the correct monitor at least. Like I said in the previous episode, my monitor, first monitor, is set as the main monitor, and this one is monitor 2, so things don't usually spawn here, as you saw with the color change there in Unity. Let me just move that. There we go. Alright, so we're gonna take a look here just to make sure that it's correct. Alright, cool. And now we're gonna go back to the script. We can start up by creating a new public game object, perhaps just inventory, and then public game object slot holder. And we can also say public, or maybe private integer, and then we can call it like amount of slots or slots. And we can also create one more and call this private game object and brackets, like curly or square brackets, to make sure that it's an array, and then we can call it slot, just like that. So we're going to use this one for achieving every single slot individually. Meanwhile, we're gonna use the integer slots for calculating the amount of slots that are in the game. So that's what we're gonna do with these. And then the inventory is obviously going to be the entire canvas so that we disable and enable, and slot holder is going to be the holder that we just created inside of Unity. So that's pretty much it. We're gonna get into more details soon as well, and you're gonna see a demonstration of this. And now we can actually go back to Unity for once and then create a new script here. There we go. And we're gonna call this one slot. And what we're gonna do, we're gonna unfold this slot holder so that we can see every single slot here. And we're gonna highlight every single one of these, so the 20 in total slots that I have in my scene here. And then I'm gonna click on add component, and we're gonna select slot. There we go. And we're gonna open up slot as well. Reload, yes, I guess, I don't know. I hope that, yeah, okay, good. I thought that it was gonna like close down the entire thing. All right, cool. Yes, so, oh, that's my phone again. I swear I get a message every time I'm recording. Alright, anyway, so we're gonna now create a boolean here. Private bool, maybe like contains item, or perhaps used. Yeah, that's a pretty good name. We're gonna use this to check if it's used, so if there is an item here. And we're also going to have a private game object item, and also private game object, or private texture, item texture, or maybe item icon. That's a better name. There we go. So we're gonna use the item for detecting which item is attached to the slot itself, and we're gonna use item icon to detect which item icon it is, so that we can display the correct icon in the inventory itself for the slot, obviously. So we can also create a void start. We can maybe move this down a little bit. There we go. And a void update. There we go. And we're also going to create one that is going to allow us to read if the pointer is actually on the slot itself. So we could also say under the boolean that we created, or maybe even above, we can say private bool hovered. Yeah, so we're gonna have this boolean to check if it's actually being hovered over right now with the mouse. And we're gonna create a specific function for this, which is gonna be called public void on pointer enter, and then pointer event data, event data. There we go. Here we go. Let's see what we're getting here. The type or namespace could not be found. Oh, okay. Oh yeah, we have to import the event system. Yeah, that's right. So we can say using Unity engine.event system, right? I think that's what it's called. Yeah, there we go. Cool. So the reason you're importing this is because it's a library and you need to have it in order to make pointer event data work, because it's a function from this. So that's pretty much it. And we can now say that when we are hovering over this, we're gonna have hovered is equal to true. So now what we're gonna do is we're also going to create a public void on pointer exit, and then pointer event data. There we go. And this is for pretty much just detecting if the pointer is also exiting correctly, the slot itself. And we're gonna say slot hovered equals to false, slot equal to false. Oh yeah, and also one more thing, I actually added a comma just to not forget this. So what we're gonna have to do is, since we imported this library, we're also going to implement the two features that we're gonna use for on pointer enter and on pointer exit. For some reason, if you don't include these, Unity doesn't really throw an error for some reason, I don't know why. But anyway, what we're gonna do is iPointer enter handler and iPointer exit handler. There you go. So these are very, very easy to implement. You just add them right beside mono behavior. I don't know why this is running. There we go. So we're gonna run the game, and let's see here if I forgot to check something else. Oh, and I also changed the boolean to public just for testing purposes, and I can actually keep it like that, and we can enter the game. And let's see, if we just hover over or go to slot 1, you can see that hover this here, and boom, it turns true. And you can see that it turns with slot 3 as well. Where is it? Oh, there it is. I was searching for it, like, where is it? Alright, there we go. So it's now being hovered, and we can actually detect if we're hovering over this slot, which is perfect. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to the inventory script and actually make sure that the slots are being detected and we can pick up items. And we're gonna first and foremost turn this back to private, the boolean hovered, because we don't need it to be public right now. And we're going to go, we could actually go ahead and create public void update. Oh, and also one important note, we can create public void start, because we're gonna have to use that bad boy a bit. And we can jump a few lines down, and we can create public void on trigger enter collider other. Pretty much that. On trigger enter is going to be used for detecting collision between the player and between the weapon or the item that we're going to pick up and place into our inventory. And speaking of which, we can also create one more new function here, which is going to be called public void add item, and then game object item. There we go. Must declare a body because it's not marked. Oh, okay. This is weird. If I remove, oh, I'm sorry. There we go. I don't know why I added a semicolon there. There we go. Alright. So obviously you want the curly brackets, not a semicolon. Don't be like me. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Now we're gonna say, we could just simply say, go to public void start, and we can place a comment or a comment just to remember what this is. Slots being read or being detected. And now we're gonna say slots is equal to inventory.transform.child count. All right, and we could also, yeah, we could probably have like a function that is gonna be called detect inventory slots. There we go. And we can create this function here, public void detect inventory slots. Oh, that's my mistake. There we go. And inside of here, we're going to have a for loop, which is going to be for int I equal to 0, I lower than slots, I plus plus. What this is going to do is basically, we're going to check for a loop which is going to create an integer called I, and it's going to be 0 upon start. And then we're going to say unless I is higher than slots. So meanwhile, like while I is actually lower than slots, we're going to increase I by 1. And I is like the letter I is going to be used for checking which inventory we're actually handling. So now we're going to say slot, then we can have a square bracket beginning, and then we can say I ending, and then we're going to say, yeah, actually we can turn the slot object, the game object, to transform array instead. And yeah, we also have to, we could now here say slot equal to new game object slots. There we go. And we need to have this underneath the slots, or else it's not going to be counted before we actually call upon this. And we're not going to have new game object, we're going to have new transform. There we go. So that's pretty much it. We're just simply saying that slot is going to be a new array, and the limit, the constraint, is going to be the amount of slots that we have, which is an integer that we set here. And now back to the main code, we're going to say slot I equal to inventory.transform.getChild parentheses I this time around. So now we're going to get the slot inventory, each one by one. And for testing purposes, we can also say print slot I dot name. And now we can go to Unity, and we're gonna have to attach a few game objects before we get into it. So first and foremost, we're gonna have to attach the entire inventory, which is going to be the canvas. And we're also going to have the slot holder here, which is, oh no, there we go. So just attach the slot holder. Now we can play the game. And let's see, slot holder, okay. It's printing that instead. Oh, inventory.transform.get child. Oh, hold on, slot holder.transform.get child. My bad. That's pretty much just, we were saying we're gonna get the inventory child object, which is the slot holder. We're not trying to get that one, we're trying to get all the slots individually. So now we're gonna play. Ooh, did it not save? I think it didn't save. There we go. Slot holder.transform.get child, yeah. Let's see if we correctly did that. Yep. It's only getting one for some reason. We could then set the... Let's set this to public and see what happens. This is actually very interesting right now. I think the slots integer is not being set correctly. Oh yeah, it's being set to 2. Alright. I know the issue, I think. So we can set this back to private. Transform that child count. Yeah, we're having inventory once again. Slot holder, god damn it. There we go. Now it's going to work. I promise. I promise. If it doesn't work, you can sue me. There we go. Not being sued, boys. Alright, so now we can detect all these slots, and every slot is actually being set up as a variable. So what we're gonna do now is we are going to first and foremost zoom into the player a little bit. And let's see. This is pretty much just the UI, and we could now add items to the inventory by simply going back to the script, and we can add new items from this function. But before we do that, we're actually gonna have some object that we're gonna pick up. So we can just say we're gonna have a cube, right? Because obviously we are being extremely talented and very professional, as the meme goes. And we can disable the canvas from the beginning just to see the game window here. There we go, that's in front of the player. And we can add a new box collider to this and have it a little bit bigger than the normal. Oh yeah, we can just set size to 1.5, 1.5, and then 1.5. There you go. And now we're gonna uncheck the edit collider. We can also say, yeah, we should probably have like a... we could either use a script for this. We can actually create a new C# script and call this item. And we can drag it, drop it onto our... Did I just... No? Okay. We can just drag and drop it into the new cube that we created. We can also rename this item. There we go. Now we should perhaps go back to Visual Studio. I forgot something, didn't I? Yeah, we didn't check his trigger. Alright, cool. So we can go back to Visual Studio. I swear, this is so scary every single time. And then on trigger enter, we're going to say... Oh yeah, we could actually just say if other.gameObject.getComponent item. Then we're pretty much just going to say... let's see, we need to create a new variable here as well. So we can just say private gameObject item picked up. Item picked up equal to other.gameObject. There we go, pretty much that. And yeah, we can also call add item picked up. Now, as you can see, for the parameter that we created, which is gameObject item here, we're saying that it's going to be item picked up. And this is to make it easier for ourselves, because we just say add item to the inventory, the item is here, literally right away. So now for the function itself, we are going to check which slot is actually empty first and foremost, and used, perhaps we can recall or rename used to empty. And then void update, we can just say if item then empty equal to false. There we go. We can actually remove these curly brackets and just drag it up there. There we go. To make it easy. So we're basically saying if there's an item, empty is going to be false because obviously there's an item, it's not empty. And now we're going to go back to the inventory script. And inside of here, we're first and foremost going to check for each and every slot. So we're going to have for int I equal to 0 once again. I lower than slots. There we go. I plus plus. Once again, just the regular for loop that you would create. Then we're gonna say if slot I dot get component. What was it called? Slot? Yeah. Dot empty. Oh yeah, we're gonna have to turn that empty boolean to true instead, or public. I mean. There we go. We can go back to inventory now, and yeah, there we go. So the security level was not allowing us to achieve that object, so or variable, so we just simply changed it back to public. Now we're going to say if it is empty, then we're gonna add the item. And what were the two item icon and item? Okay, so the item is equal to, or hold on, slot I dot get component slot dot item equal to. We're gonna turn that to true as well, or public as well. Why do I keep saying true to that? And then we're going to say item picked up. Yeah, item picked up. Cool. We're gonna go back to slot, change this to public. We can also change this to public. There we go. The only one we're gonna have as private is going to be the hovered one. Then we can go back here and we can say slot I dot get component slot item icon is equal to yeah, this is actually interesting. We need an item icon first and foremost, so we could just simply say item picked up dot get component item dot icon, and quickly we're gonna get to the item script that we created, and we're gonna right off the bat we're gonna create an public texture icon. There we go. Where were we? In the inventory script. There we go. So yeah, nice. So now we're pretty much saying if the slot that we are currently at, like this is pretty much every time we're trying to add an item, it's going to count every single slot and receive all the data from it. And we're going to say if the slot you're at currently is empty, then just place the item there. If it's not empty, keep on going because the for loop is going to continue, right? So unless it's not counting anymore, unless it's not counting anymore, we're just going to add the item and then we're going to change the icon of it as well, which should be pretty much it. We could go back to Unity to try this out, and let's see here. Let me just clear that first. Alright, so we need an icon for the item itself. We could just click this here. Oh my god, that spawns. There we go. So we can pretty much have this. And we need to also change the icon itself of the slot to be matching with the icon itself. Yeah, we can simply say, yeah, let's try with that. If actually we need to, yeah, we could instead, for the moment being, just for testing purposes, we can say it's going to be a bad practice, but we can just say if item, or hold on, we can remove this, set it to be calculated under this instead. There we go. So empty is going to be false, and we're also going to set item icon equal to item dot get component item dot icon. There we go. And we're also going to change the raw image of this. So we're gonna need to import a new library called using Unity engine.ui, and here we are going to say this dot image, I think it was, hold on, what was the raw image thing called? We're gonna have to change the slot for that. Raw image, yeah. So this dot get component raw image. Then let me check the texture, should be the correct one. Dot texture is equal to item icon. There we go. So yeah, now we can actually check this out in Unity. Let's see if this works out. So just play the game. We're gonna walk on to the cube here. Let me see. Oh yeah, hold on, actually. We need to enable the canvas before. Doesn't seem to work. I don't think that I added a detector to the player. Yeah, it's only a capsule collider with the is trigger to set to false. So we're gonna add a new box collider to the player as well. There we go. Alright, just make it slightly bigger. Alright, we can also go to Visual Studio to make it easy for ourselves. And public void update, we're going to say if input.getKey down keycode.I. Oh, there is supposed to be 2, there we go. Then we can say inventory enabled equal to exclamation mark inventory enabled. And we're gonna create a new variable here. We could create it here. Private bool inventory enabled. There we go. Then we could say if inventory enabled, then we are going to set inventory dot set active true, and then else inventory dot set active false. So what we're doing here is we're reading off a input from the player, which is going to be the key code I, meaning you're pressing I on your keyboard. You can change this to whatever key you want, but the I key is obviously usually used for games like these for inventory. So upon pressing, we're going to set inventory enabled to be switch between inventory enabled and then inventory enabled to false. So we're going to say if the inventory is enabled when you press, it's going to be false. If it's false when you press it, it's going to be true instead. So we just switch it like a light switch. So one more modification that I'm going to do is removing the line print slot I here, saving the script and going back to Unity, and we're going to go to our item game object and we're going to set the tag to be item. So don't forget about that, because I did and I tried this and it didn't really work as I wanted to. So if we play the game now, you're going to see that we have a clean console and then it's going to say colliding. However, yeah, it doesn't seem to be willing to add to the thing itself, to the inventory. Let's see here, slot. Alright, if we do like this, then we're gonna see the item empty or not anyway. So that's actually really weird. So it doesn't really want to add an item to the slot inventory or the slot itself. Get component slot item equal to item picked up. Oh, hold on a minute. I think I see what I'm doing wrong here. So we're checking for every single slot, and then we're saying if slot I that get component is empty, then we're going to set it. But oh yeah, we don't have every slot to be set on empty. We're just checking if item is existing, then we're setting empty equal to false. So we're gonna say else empty equal to true. There we go. And let me just fix my OCD real quick. Hold on, guys. There we go. There we go. Triggered. Alright. So we're basically checking if item is existing in the slot. If not, we're setting empty to be true because it's true. And if it is, then we're setting empty to be false. So now save the script, go back to Unity, and we're gonna try this bad boy one more time. It should be working now. I don't really think that there is a problem here. Boom, there we go. So now, yes. Oh, okay. So it's changing every single one of them. Okay. We're gonna need to check for this a little bit more manually then. It's not a problem. It's easily solved. So yeah, we could just simply say item picked up, then underneath we're gonna say private bool item added. Yeah, we can just say item added, and we are going to check if slot is empty and if item added equal to false. So to make sure that the item is not added yet. And then when it gets added, we're gonna say item added equal to true. So there we go. And Yeah, and then we can just simply say public void on trigger enter collider other. Not enter, sorry, exit. There we go. And then we're gonna check the same thing, other.tag equal to item. There we go. And we're going to simply say, we can pretty much just say item added equal to false to make sure that it doesn't, you know, stick on to like, or get stuck on item added to be true. So now we can play the game one more time and we're gonna see how that goes. There we go. Cool, so it doesn't add for slot 5, but it adds for slot 1. Nice. I like it. I like it a lot. Alright. Yep. Now it's doing it all correct. So as you can see, every time we walk onto it, it's simply just adding to a new inventory slot. And you can see that the texture is a little bit buggy. This is not code-wise. It's not a code problem. It's just the texture itself for this slot. But it's not a big problem. It's not a big deal. We can easily solve that. I think I'm gonna end this video here because I have to eat dinner. And in the next episode though, guys, we're gonna be focusing on actually equipping an item like a weapon, and I'm gonna import some assets. If you guys have any free assets you would like me to cover up for or include in the next episode for the player to equip, let me know in the comments. I'm always down for that kind of stuff. Let them be free though. I don't have that much money. YouTube doesn't really give me ad revenue anyway. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this episode. I hope you all enjoyed. We created a very basic inventory. It's not very professional looking, as you can see, but we are obviously going to work on it. And this is just episode 2, so calm down, okay? Calm down. Take it easy, boys. Anyhow, like I said, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you being here and spending your time with me. The previous video we had like a like goal of 120 likes, I think, and we smashed like 300 likes in one day. It was insane stuff. Thank you guys so much for all the support. If you want to see more of these episodes, let me know in the comments, and also smash the like button. Obviously it supports a lot and it shows that you guys really are enjoying these episodes, because the view count is important and all that, but the like goals have to be met too, so that I can see if it's actually worth spending time onto these series even more. So yeah, smash the like button, like I said, if you enjoy and if you want to see more. We are running a very small giveaway on my Twitter account, so make sure to join it by clicking the link in the description down below. It's going to link you to my Twitter, and also join Discord. We are a community there and we share these kinds of tutorials with each other, so join up and we're gonna welcome you. First and foremost, Wick is going to be the first one to welcome you. I'm just saying, he's a moderator now. Yeah, and with that being said, once again, thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you either in the comments or in the Discord server. See you guys, peace out.